2022 Lake Central Veterans Day program. My name is Georgios Kotoridis, and I am your Master of Ceremonies for today. Now escorting our veterans into the gymnasium today are the pipes and drums of the Lake County Sheriff's Department. Everyone please rise and give a warm welcome to our veterans. I would like everyone to please remain standing, and veterans, please hand salute for the posting of the colors led by Mr. Matthew Berry and the Eagle Scouts and Boy Scouts of America Troop 532. Leo. Leo. Leo.
All right. And now, the Lake Central Wind Ensemble, led by Director Elliott Smith, with the playing of our national anthem. Please rise.
Thank you, Lake Central Wind Ensemble and Mr. Smith. Now, the Eagle and Boy Scouts will present the official folding of the American flag and explain what each fold means. This flag is especially special because it was the flag of a coffin. It's a coffin flag used for Homer Arthur Gettler, a student from Dyer Central, who was killed in action on October 2nd, 1944 during World War II.
Good morning. My name is Matt Berry. I'm the Scoutmaster for Cherville Troop 532. On behalf of Troop 532 and St. John Troop 561, we're extremely honored to be asked to be a participant in today's events. So the meaning behind the United States flag is special, and it is very significant. Flag etiquette dictates that every time an American flag is to be stored or presented during a ceremony, its handlers should fold it in half twice lengthwise. Then, starting with the opposite end of the blue field of stars, make a taut triangular fold. Handlers continue to fold the flag in triangles until the flag has formed a triangular pillow, with the blue field showing on the outside. It is a dignified way to treat the flag and gives powerful touch to patriotic celebrations. This 13-fold procedure was common long before modern assigned meetings. The source and date of the origin of the meetings is unknown, but for those who participate or witness a formal flag folding ceremony, whether it be on Flag Day, Memorial Day, July 4th, Veterans Day, or at a military funeral, the 13 meetings create an uplifting experience. This is what the 13 folds mean. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold signifies our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and tribute of the veteran departing our ranks and who gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country to attain peace. The fourth fold exemplifies our weaker nature as citizens, trusting in God. It is to Him we turn for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is an acknowledgment to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we may see the light of day, and to honor our mother for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is an honor to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since he or she was first born. The 11th fold in the eyes of Hebrew citizens represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in their eyes the God Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold in the eyes of a Christian citizen represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The last fold, when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." Troop, you may be seated.
Thank you. I will now start our program off with a little history about Veterans Day. Armistice Day was signed into effect on November 14th, 1919 by President Woodrow Wilson as a day of memorial for the soldiers who fought and died in service during World War I. The number 11 being the time, day, and month World War I ended. The meaning and name of the day was changed on June 1st, 1954 to Veterans Day, due to the urging of veterans organizations to not only honor our veterans who died in service, but to honor all veterans. Ever since then, we celebrate the sacrifice and service of the brave men and women who have served our country in peacetime and in war, and thank them for keeping our country safe and free for us all. I urge you all to pay close attention to our program, as you may learn something new about Veterans Day and the heroes we honor during this program. Now, I would like to introduce our principal, Mrs. Novak, for her opening remarks.
Good morning, and welcome to the Lake Central High School 2022 Veterans Day ceremony. It is truly an honor and humbling experience to stand before the hundreds of veterans of our great community who join us here today. On behalf of the Lake Central High School community, I would like to thank all of the veterans for attending, especially our Gold Star families, whose family members made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Lake Central High School takes great pride in our veterans. This past May, after many months of planning, we were able to dedicate the memorial in our front entrance hallway that contains the names and pictures of the 20 Dyer and Lake Central High School graduates who lost their lives during their service. Their memory will be eternal in our school community, and future generations will be reminded of their great valor as they pass by this memorial. I encourage you to take time to observe this memorial and pause for reflection before you leave our school today. Our country and community is filled with many freedoms today because of the people in this room. Many of Lake Central's closest relatives and friends join us today to be honored for their bravery and their sacrifice. President Ronald Reagan once said, "The price of freedom may be high, but never so costly as the loss of freedom." To our veterans, thank you for not only for your bravery in difficult times, but for the millions of ways your service has impacted your own lives and families as you fought for our freedoms. As President John F. Kennedy said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Lake Central students and staff, as we proudly thank the veterans today, let us remember the best way to show our gratitude is to contribute to our country for which they fought. The greatest gift we can give our veterans is a better America. Again, thank you to all of our veterans for being here today. Welcome to Lake Central High School, and please enjoy our program. At this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Amanda Schuyler, a Lake Central Social Studies teacher and the History Club sponsor.
Thank you, Mrs. Novak, for your opening remarks. Good morning, everyone. Joining us today are members of our school community's Gold Star families. To better understand the significance of the title Gold Star family, it dates back to World War I, when military families would display service flags featuring a blue star for every immediate family member serving in the armed forces. The star's color would be changed to gold if the family lost a loved one in the war, hence the term Gold Star family. Those who have lost loved ones to service never forget where they were when they received the news. It's something they will carry with them forever. The day blue turned to gold. Although no one wants to be a Gold Star family, the title was created to honor the service members' ultimate sacrifice while acknowledging their family's loss, grief, and continued healing. One way to honor Gold Star families is to educate those around you. And as part of our ceremony, we recognize the sacrifice that all Gold Star families make when a loved one dies in service to our nation. Our Gold Star families present today are the families of William P. Schweitzer, Albert F. Sidlasek, and Daryl Grote-House. Please join me in welcoming our Gold Star families. Okay, so at the beginning of this school year, I was approached by two students asking me if I would be the History Club sponsor. Immediately, I said yes, and then I thought, those are some big shoes to fill. And by those shoes, I mean Tom Clark. One of the many honors that come with being the History Club sponsor is being involved in this Veterans Day ceremony and being able to speak in front of you today. Another honor is finding a video that somehow summarizes what it means to be grateful for our veterans, for the sacrifices they make leaving home, and for the impact they have on our daily lives. Before showing the video, I wanted to read some quotes for our veterans that are present today. On this Veterans Day, let us remember the service of our veterans, and let us renew our national promise to fulfill our sacred obligations to our veterans and their families who have sacrificed so much so that we can live free. A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself, and we often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude. So if you would please direct your attention to the screen behind me, we will have a video for you guys to watch.
Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. Coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world I'm coming. Let the rain the world I'm coming. Yesterday, I know my kingdom waits, they've forgiven my mistakes. Tell the world I'm coming. Tell the world I'm coming.
I want to stop here for just a second. Jessica's father called me. Jessica's brother in Afghanistan is wishing to be here today. I know what it's like. My wife and I something wrong. Jessica, please be your mother.
And now we will have the Lake Central Concert Choir, led by Director Nathaniel Jones, be singing the Armed Forces Medley.
We fight for your right and you will the nation's might. The army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the country's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's time to play. We always win this way. Fingers up and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Wherever we go, you will always know that the army is rolling along.
Thank you, Concert Choir and Mr. Jones. I would like to now introduce Mr. Marty Zigowitz, the 2017-2018 American Legion State Commander, and Mrs. Roseanne Zigowitz, the 2021-2022 American Legion Auxiliary President.
What should I say today? Good morning, LC. And more importantly, Happy Veterans Day. And what's really nice, one of the nicest things about today is that I got up this morning. Well, my name is Marty Ziglowitz. Been a resident of St. John for 35 years. And a member of American Legion Post for 48 years. I'm the past commander of Allied Post 369, and most recently the state commander of the American Legion. You know, way back when you guys weren't around here, I don't think anybody was probably here. Back in 1990, Post 369 came to the basketball game and presented the colors. Right? Well, it wasn't in this gym, but nevertheless, we made the trip, and we were the first one to give Lake Central a POW flag. It was really funny because nobody knew what the heck that flag was about. Well, today we'll tell you a little bit about why we're here, why we do this ceremony, and it's something that the American Legion has done for many, many years. I know we had a little bit of controversy about that flag, but I think everything is back to normal. Mr. Tom Clark still has his job and fully retired. What a tag team we were. Well, let's see. Assisting me tonight or today is my wife Roseanne. She's the she's the reason why I get this ceremony correct. She's been the state president for the American Legion Auxiliary, and she's currently on the national office of a National Executive Committee woman for the American Legion Auxiliary. And again, it's such an honor to be here today. We thought we'd do a little different twist today and added a couple different things. And one of the things we added was the Armed Forces flags. Representing the United States Navy, Joey Iannucci. Please come forward, Joe. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Marines, Ahmad Azaz. Heisel. The Army, Rihanna Dordal. The Space Force, Brody Snyder. the Air Force, Vasilios Kolderidis. And last but not least, Coast Guard, Talia Mapletoft. Boy, everybody did that fantastic. You guys are great. All right, we'll begin our service tonight. Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Before we begin this activity today, I'd just like to pause and recognize our POWs and MIAs. I call your attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to join with their loved ones and their families. So we join together to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the vase signifies the blood that they may have shed and sacrificed to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase represents an unyielding determination for a proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless volunteers of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They still cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them, protect them and their families. Let us remember the latest statistics of our missing. World War I, 4,452. World War II, 72,270. Korea, 7,522. Vietnam, 1,581. The Cold War, 126. And all our other conflicts of late, a total of 6. That concludes the ceremony today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for Mr. Stanish and Aaron. Flag bearers, you're dismissed.
Thank you, Marty Zigowitz, for remembering the fallen. And here to do that today with us are the pipes and drums of the Lake County, Indiana Sheriff's Department with Amazing Grace.
Hello, LC. My name is Tom Clark. I am a former U.S. history teacher of Lake Central. There have been many veterans that have shaped my life. My dad being number one, a World War II veteran and a Korean War veteran, the greatest man I ever knew. My father-in-law, Kenneth Kling, a Korean War veteran, combat veteran, who's raised a super wonderful daughter, my wife, Marcia. And my Lake Central former head counselor at Lake Central, Dan McDivitt, a World War II combat veteran and one of Patton's bodyguards. And somebody very special, my methods professor from Purdue University, Dr. Charles Miller, a World War II combat veteran. A former grad of this school, Lake Central grad, Tony Gutierrez, a highly decorated combat veteran of Vietnam. The present state commander of the Disabled American Veterans, Bob Carnegie, a veteran of Vietnam. And somebody only a few years ago we had here speaking, former governor of Indiana, Vietnam veteran and POW, Joe Kernan. And the past state commander of the American Legion, Marty Zigowitz, and a Vietnam veteran. And his wonderful wife, Mrs. Rose Zigowitz, present American Legion Auxiliary State President. And 3 veterans of the trenches of Lake Central. Head Principal, Aaron Novak. Assistant Principal, Joe Stanish. And the head of the Lake Central Social Studies Department, Mr. Ralph Holden. All three had fathers that were veterans. These people, many others, like yourselves, made this day possible. Thank you. But there is one I believe represents all veterans and all of us. Pat O'Donnell, a decorated combat veteran of Vietnam. He's one who really stands out and cares about all of us. His name should be Pat, what can I do for you, O'Donnell? He's the radio host of WJOB's show, Veterans Views. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of his accolades and all the great things he's done. I'm just going to tell you about one. One thing that I can tell you. He and many others, and he headed this committee, they raised enough money and fought to get 75 homeless veterans homes in a place to stay in Hobart. He has been nationally recognized for this event in his work. But he didn't do it for the award. He did it because he cares. There are just too many great things to say about this leader of veterans. President Kennedy wrote or said in a speech, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Our guest speaker today, he exemplifies that quote. I present to all veterans that we honor here today and the young people who are the future of America sitting in this Hall of Honor, I present to you the veteran of all veterans, our honored speaker, Patrick O'Donnell.
Good morning, Lake Central! God bless all of you for being here today, and God bless the United States veterans! Be it from the Great Wars to World War II, Korea or Vietnam, the Gulf War to Afghanistan to Iraq, or from the beginning revolution of our great nation, tomorrow is a day that we Americans, young and old, focus their attention on the importance of our veterans. Let's hear it for our veterans. They are the champions in freedom and democracy that bring you the freedoms that we take for granted sometimes in this country. But we must always remember that our veterans are there fighting for us so that we remain a free country. Today, our veterans are still fighting. They haven't quit. We are fighting for homeless veterans. At any given time, there's 33,136 veterans out there that are homeless or living in somebody else's house and sleeping on the couch. We will continue to fight for them so that no veteran will be left unattended and have a place to stay. The Vietnam veterans are dying at 390 per day. Per day. They have been exposed to toxin, chemicals. Our Afghan, Iraqi veterans have been exposed to burn pits. And we must continue to fight for those veterans because they earned it. I remember a time in my service when I was young. I was called to go. I was 19 years old when I went to the Republic of Vietnam. I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. I have a bigger respect today for toilets. You know why? Because I couldn't find any when I was in Vietnam. I've watched men die. I was in some big battles, which most of the veterans here know. The 173rd November of '67 was a tragic month. And of course, after that was Tet, which for all the units was a tragic month. And I remember, I carry those wounds. Sometimes your soul is stripped from you, and when you come back from war, you have to regain it. These veterans need help, and you young kids today, you are going to be a veteran, some of you, one day, because you care about the United States of America, you care about our freedoms, and you care that the United States of America will continue on as a free nation. It is because of these sacrifices we as Americans enjoy this opportunity to assemble here today. Independent from the reins of an overbearing government like in some countries who watch everything you do, count everything you do. There are those countries out there where women wouldn't be allowed in this auditorium, where women would have to wear a veil over their face. There are those countries where if a husband beats his wife and she calls the police will beat her for calling the police. And in the United States of America, we will not tolerate any of that or let those people here. We are a free people, and we practice our freedom of speech and religion, and we are free to whom we love and enjoy the rights to vote for our representatives. As Americans, let us never lose sight of the meaning of Veterans Day. May we always show respect for our American institutions, extend a lending hand to our neighbors, and commit ourselves to making our communities across this great nation of ours a place to strive for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We owe this to those who came before us to fight for these freedoms and the way of life, and to those who continue to fight to this day to protect our freedoms. Our veterans, who represent around 7% of the U.S. population, the most recent data released by the U.S. Census Bureau estimates that there are more than 7.3 million Gulf War era veterans, nearly 6.5 million veterans from the Vietnam War, over 1.4 million Korean War veterans, and 167,000 World War II veterans. Those numbers were done a few years ago, and of course, as you know, those numbers have gone down. The biggest population of veterans is in California, Florida, and then Texas. Currently, 91% of the 18.3 million U.S. veterans are men. 9% are women. And 134,000 of those veterans are transgender. And 15,000 of them are serving in the military today. Let us make sure that no fallen soldier or sailor, Coast Guardsman or Marine or Airman shall have died or have been wounded in vain. We must remember them and honor them, and we do that by not only extending to them our thanks and support, but also by living our lives as a free people. May God bless you all. May God bless all our veterans and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And may God continue to bless the United States of America. I'm Pat O'Donnell with Veterans News Radio Program. God bless you all. America, 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 America. God bless America.
Everybody, one more time, give it up for Pat O'Donnell. And now, to follow that incredible speech, the Lake Central Wind Ensemble, led by director Elliott Smith, with the playing of Mansions of the Lord.
Thank you, Lake Central Wind Ensemble and Mr. Elliott Smith. And here, the Lake Central Concert Choir, led by director Nathaniel Jones, will sing Three Patriotic Treasures.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, and thank you, Lake Central Concert Choir. Thank you, choir. If you guys could please stand, and band, could you please stand? Our wind ensemble, please. Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith, thank you for what you did today. Please give them a round of applause. Well, I guess it was pretty big. I stand here right now a pretty grateful person. You know, there are a lot of moving parts to this program today. If you are a member of this committee, can you please stand up right now? Committee members, please stand up. All of my NHS, my N-Teens, my Interact Club, History Club, Rotary, LCTV, please stand. Where are our scouts at? Okay, they're in the back. Our Eagle Scouts. Mr. Clark, thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Ziegowitz, please stand up for a second. I want to give them a huge round of applause for being here today, and we look forward to working with you guys at the American Legion Post here in St. John in the future. Thank you very much. Mr. O'Donnell. Mr. Volk, where are you at? Mr. Volk, thank you. Thank you to your 3D art 3 and 4 classes. Mrs. Talent, thank you for connecting with our Gold Star families. Mr. Jeremy Rainwater, where are you at? Please stand up for a second. Mr. Rainwater and anybody that is part of the LC Print Shop, please stand. Thank you to all of you for all your efforts. The program, the banners, those were Mr. Rainwater and his crew in the print shop. Mr. Rick Moreno and all of our LC Tech Department people, please stand up for a second. Thank you guys for all your help. Thank you for the live stream video. Mrs. Livingston, Mrs. Caldwell, Mrs. Oliva, and the LC kitchen staff for that incredibly awesome breakfast. Mr. Enyart, Mr. Sandor, Mrs. Folk, Mrs. Graves, thank you to the LC Athletic Department for letting us use this incredibly awesome facility. Kevin DeMantes and our Lake Central custodial crew, the big setup was smooth. Everything went really great today. That teardown will be a little bit harder than it was to set up. But we did a heck of a job, and if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be possible right now, setting up all these chairs for all these incredibly awesome people that are sitting here right now on the floor of this gymnasium. So Mr. DeMantes and your crew, thank you. Commander Musgrove and the pipes and drums of the Lake County, Indiana Sheriff's Department, they had to exit, but thank you for what you did today, for volunteering your time. Yes, they volunteered their time to come here and play. Mr. Matthew Berry, Scouts, Eagle Scouts, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day here to be here with us. Tri-Town Fire and Police Departments. If any of you guys came in this morning and you saw the fire engines with the flag out at the entry, thank you. Thank those guys. Corporal Jerry Patrick. And all of our Lake Central School Corporation SROs. Officer Burton, who was part of that pipes and drums crew, thank you. Our LC School Board, thank you. Dr. Veraco, our Lake Central administration, our office staff, staff and students, Mrs. Schuyler, it came together in 3 months, and it was a long 3 months, but it went pretty fast, though, if that makes any sense. But you did an outstanding job. Your students stepped up. Incredible. Be proud of this, and hopefully we can build off of this and make it even better next year. Mr. Pruitt, please stand. Mr. Pruitt here designed the program. He designed all the flyers, did all of that hard work behind the scenes, and even had to listen to me change it about 50,000 times. So I apologize for that, and I think I did it about 50,000 times. So thank you. St. John Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 717 for being here today. For those members. Mrs. Janelle LaRue, the behind-the-scenes coordinator in the main office. You did a great job today. This was awesome. She helped me out quite a bit, so please, if we could, give her a huge round of applause. Mrs. Novak, our administration team, guidance department, and our entire staff, thank you for being here to help. You made this process a lot easier. You guys are an incredibly talented group of people, and I'm very thankful to call you all family, and I appreciate all your support. Just another great example of what it means to be here at Lake Central and be a part of this incredibly talented district from top to bottom. You guys are great people. We're surrounding ourselves with great people. Our students are great people. And these veterans here on the floor, please give them one more huge round of applause. Thank you, everybody.
I would now like everyone to please stand for the retiring of the colors and veterans hand salute. Thank you. As our program comes to a close, I would like to remind everyone of the sacrifices the men and women standing before us have made in order to keep our country safe by pointing out these 5 individual flags behind me. These flags are coffin flags used during the funerals of deceased veterans who have served their country honorably. Without these men and women who have dedicated their lives to this country and ourselves, we wouldn't be able to be where we are now. Fellow students, I hope that after we finish this ceremony, you will all reach out to help the veterans who have helped us. Whether it be volunteering at your local VFW, donating to veterans organizations, or just simply striking up a conversation with one of them. I want you all to know that a simple thank you or a simple conversation with anyone can make someone's day. To our veterans, I would like to thank you all one last time for your bravery, service, and sacrifice. You deserve all of the honor and respect given to you, and it is why, with my regards, that I ask everyone for one final round of applause for our heroes. Thank you.
That will conclude our ceremony for today. Please, veterans, sit down in your seats. We will be exiting the upper levels, east and west side first. You will exit first. Everybody in the lower bowl, please sit down in a seat. Thank you.